Good morning. This is Kellie Syfan. You're listening to Next Door Radio on nextdoorradio.com and the Next Door Radio app. You are joining me in the 10 o'clock hour on a Friday, which means it's time for Behavior 911. Again, I'm Kellie Syfan joining you from Clove Hitch Behavior, and I'm so excited to be here today. I want to talk a little bit about types of reinforcement. Now, the reason I want to bring this up, because we've talked about it before on the show, and of course, you can go on to nextdoorradio.com and listen to any of our past shows. I want to dig into why behaviors continue to occur when we don't expect them to, or some of the positives and negatives of what can happen with reinforcement. So, to begin, reinforcement is something that occurs after a behavior and causes it to continue occurring in the future. It's going to increase the likelihood that that behavior will occur again. It's very simplest. It can be when you ask me what's 2 plus 2, I say 4. You say, yeah, that's right. I'm more likely to say that 2 plus 2 equals 4 because I know that's right. You added in some praise, you added in the affirming statement that that was correct. I'm more likely to get that correct in the future. Now, that would be positive reinforcement. Something was added to my world, you telling me that was correct, and I'm more likely to engage in the behavior, more likely to answer that correctly in the future. There's also negative reinforcement. That's when something's taken away from the situation that causes the behavior to happen more in the future. Really, really common example is going to be aspirin. When I've got a headache and aspirin comes around, it removes my headache. The headache goes away. Because the headache went away, I'm more likely to use aspirin in the future. I'm more likely to engage in that behavior of having a headache and taking some aspirin in order to make it go away. So there's some goods and there's some bads around this. And if we look at when these are used really well, when they come into our life and really help support positive behaviors, what happens? And we've got some examples of when it can kind of get out of hand or when it can go in a direction that we didn't expect or start to cause some problems in our lives. So let's start on that positive reinforcement side. Again, that's something added into the situation that causes the behavior to happen more in the future. When this looks amazing, when it's super helpful, it's something like this situation that I gave before. 2 plus 2 equals 4. The addition of your praise and your affirmation, I'm more likely to answer it correctly. This can also look like I say hello, you say hello back, you added saying hello back, I'm more likely to say hello to you in the future. This can even look like, hey, I'm trying really hard at trying to hit a baseball and I'm trying really hard and then I hit the baseball. And that sound of the baseball hitting the bat, oh man, that is cool. And I want that sound again. I want that whole experience again. That was added to my life and it's going to increase the likelihood that I'll continue to try working on hitting the ball and playing baseball. So you can see how this could be really positive in our lives. All the things that we do in order to gain other things, all the things that lead to the positive consequences in our life that continue us down the paths that we want. Now, there's a couple of ways this can go sideways. You'll see this with little kids often. I say a joke, everybody laughs, and then for the next week, you hear nothing but that joke over and over and over again because I'm trying to get that same laugh. I want that positive reinforcement again. I want to say this and be the funny person in the room. And everyone else is going, holy smokes, I am satiated on this joke. I cannot hear it one more time. You're driving me nuts. Well, what I'm looking for is that positive reinforcement again. And I don't, as a little kid, I don't have the skills to be able to go, oh, wait, okay, this is only funny for so long. And I need to find the next joke. Okay. And then I can shift it a little. I can try something new, keep moving through. All I've got is this one joke and I know it worked. And gosh darn it, I'm going to keep trying it. You're going to see this in a lot of other ways. You might see this in, hey, the only way that I know how to get a cookie is to scream for it. And so I'm going to scream for everything now, or I'm going to scream even louder when I get in a public space because I know that that addition of screaming will lead to getting cookies. All sorts of different ways that this one can go sideways. I think it's really important for that first example, the child telling the joke, getting the laugh, having the positive reinforcement of the laugh coming in, being added to their situation, and then continuing to the point of perhaps absolute annoyance, is that that's a skill that we're lacking there. We're lacking the skill of understanding humor. We're lacking the skill of understanding, hey, there's a point in time for things, the context for things. And we can start to go, oh, this was reinforced really heavily in this situation without the context of why it was reinforced. The context is this was a new joke and it was said the first time, or it was said around new people. And if we're able to go, okay, I see where that was reinforced and generalized way too big, and the behavior kind of got a little out of line because it was so pervasive everywhere. Go, okay, if I just give this person some context and help them understand how this worked and what should have been reinforced in that moment rather than everything else that got reinforced with it, I can help them understand how to use their humor to gain that attention, to connect with other people without reaching that point where everybody else is annoyed and doesn't want to hear it anymore. Again, a little bit of a skill deficit there with a little bit of context we can help them figure out. On the second one, we've got again an overgeneralization of the skill. Oh, screaming can get me what I need. I'll continue to scream louder. So, looking at that, we're going, okay, do they have a better replacement? Can we give them a better replacement for what they need? This was really effective. It led to things being added to my life that I want. Therefore, I'm going to use it everywhere. Okay. What's the better replacement in this situation? What's the better replacement in that situation? So instead of looking for the correct context, hey, this is a great behavior. Let's get it contextually worked out for you. It's, hey, this behavior is not super awesome. Let's figure out some better choices and make them work just as well. And that's the really tough part there. At first, it has to work just as well as screaming did. So it may mean you're given a lot of cookies in the beginning for every time they ask nicely, and then you fade it down from there. A lot of different things to consider as you're working through that sort of situation. Okay, so we've talked about the pluses and the minuses with positive reinforcement. Again, something being added, behavior continues more in the future. Let's talk about negative reinforcement. Again, that's something is taken away from the environment and continues the behavior in the future. The example that we gave at the beginning, taking an aspirin causes my headache to go away, therefore I'm more likely to take aspirin in the future. This can look really awesome. When negative reinforcement is working well, this is where we set boundaries really beautifully. Hey, I'd appreciate if you speak with me with a quieter voice, and then I will understand you better. Fantastic. Your voice reduces. You are not yelling at me anymore. That yelling is removed. I'm more likely to continue to use this type of communication to set boundaries in the future. That's beautiful. We love that. And on the other side, what we might see is I am a little bit scared, let's say, to be live on the radio. And so I've got all of these other behaviors that occur to try to get me away from this situation. I do things like, oh, I have this excuse. I need to leave immediately, or my stomach starts to hurt. Now, let me pause on that one for a second. Did I make my stomach hurt? No, this is called a psychosomatic reaction. Something's happening in my head and it's going danger, 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 causing my stomach to actually hurt. And now I've got to get out of here to make it feel better. I'm looking for that relief. I'm trying to find the aspirin for my situation. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be here. This doesn't feel good, whatever that might be. And I'm trying to find the relief from it. And all sorts of different behaviors can come up for that. As I said, we've got those times when our body actually reacts as if we are in danger and we're actually genuinely feeling things like headaches and stomach aches and cramps and all sorts of different things that our body's going, hey, I think we're genuinely in danger. My brain thinks I'm genuinely in danger. I'm feeling genuinely in danger. Um, these reactions are to keep us safe. Again, when we see this in ourselves or others, we can go, oh, wait, this is not quote unquote all in my head. This is not somebody being manipulative. This is a genuine reaction to try to find some relief. Okay. Can we find some other ways to get some relief? Can we work through feeling that discomfort and continuing down the path toward the behaviors that match our values? That's a really tough one. With negative reinforcement, that removal of something to create more behavior in the future, every time we remove that discomfort, we run away from that tough thing. We're reinforcing continuing to run away. Now, there are times, absolutely, where we need to take a step back, stop, move away, all those different things. And there are times where we can go, hey, this behavior that I want to engage in genuinely aligns with my values, and I'm feeling a lot of discomfort around it. I am seeking negative reinforcement. I want something to remove this discomfort. Can I sit with both of those in this moment? Can I sit with This is something I genuinely want and fits my values, and this is incredibly uncomfortable, and I'm having all sorts of reactions to it. I'm having physiological reactions. I'm having all sorts of different things running through my head. If we can sit with both of those, what we're doing is putting that behavior, that I need to get out of here behavior, on extinction. We're going, hey, I feel you. This is uncomfortable. And I'm not going to give you that relief and run away today. I'm going to engage in something different. And every time we do that, that want to engage in relief, that want to run away, that need to get out of here decreases because we're no longer supplying negative reinforcement. Now, again, this can have its negative sides to it. If we're forcing people through that process, we're likely causing trauma. That's no good. We do not want to do that. Everything has to be at everybody's own pace, working through these different pieces together. As well, if we are constantly allowing negative reinforcement to occur, if we're getting out of everything every time it's uncomfortable, you can see very quickly how our body and our mind and our patterns would fall into line with how do I find the most comfortable position as quickly as possible? 'Cause that's what's been reinforced over and over again. So many things to consider with positive and negative reinforcement. Real quick, let me tell you about how I can help you if you want to talk about this some more. Again, my name is Kellie Syfan. I'm with Clove Hitch Behavior. You can find me at chbehavior.com. Call or text 919-579-6192 or email Kellie, that's Kellie with an IE, at chbehavior.com. I'd be more than happy to talk you through this. As simple as it may seem at first, reinforcement can be incredibly complex. So, as we're wrapping up, what I want you to consider is those times when you had a behavior that you didn't realize you were reinforcing. So, whether that's in yourself or someone else, holy smokes, wait, when I did this, I was taking discomfort away from them, reinforcing that behavior. Huh, interesting. Or when they did that, it added something to my world, and that, oh my goodness, reinforced my behavior. My patterns of behavior are being reinforced here. Holy moly. Now, here's the crazy thing about positive and negative reinforcement. It often works together. So let's take a parent child example. A child sees you on the phone. This is a common one. Sees you on the phone. Would really like your attention. In this moment, your attention is not available, which makes it very valuable. So we're going to, it's whining. We're going to add whining to your world as the adult. And holy smokes, we just want that whining to stop. So we get off the phone and we go, what? Oh, we added something to their world. We added the what? We added the attention. More likely to whine in the future. On the other side, we were experiencing whining. And when we said what? The whining stopped. That's negative reinforcement for us. We're more likely to stop our call and respond in the future to stop the whining. Isn't that crazy how those two work together and how we can end up reinforcing each other and creating behavior problems and patterns in each other that we didn't want? We kids don't want to whine. You don't want to yell. And yet we're both reinforcing each other in these kinds of situations. Isn't that crazy and cool? So if we take a minute to sit down and go, oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I see the trap that we're stuck in here. Then we can go through and find solutions quickly and effectively. Thank you so much for joining me today on Behavior 911. This has been Kellie Syfan. You're listening to Next Door Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Next Door Radio app. I'll see you next week.
Now's the best time of year to get more for your money